Hello, this is Yannick from WASIO Photography, and welcome to our first video from the series From Start to Finish, where we show how we got our photos from capture to final products. Last week we came back from WPPI conference in Las Vegas, where today's photo won a gold award with a score of 90 in the wedding journalism category. So I thought this would be a good candidate for our first video to see how we got from the capture to the final photo that we submitted to the competition. And as you may know, in wedding journalism category, only very limited editing is allowed, such as standard dodging and burning, global sharpening, and cropping. So today's photo will not have any crazy post-processing or anything editing techniques, just pretty straightforward dodging and burning, some sharpening, and post-processing in Lightroom. So let's jump to the photo. So this is the photo that we got straight. I mean, this is post-processed in Lightroom already. So let me move here and reset the settings. So this is the photo that came straight from the camera. As you see, this photo is a little bit too warm, a little bit underexposed, and it was shot at 3200 ISO, 200 millimeter in my 70 to 200 2.8 Canon lens with image stabilizer, f-stop 2.8, and shutter speed 1/25 of a second. And I was able to get a sharp photo still, even at this shutter speed, because of the image stabilizer in the Canon lens. So from post-processing in Lightroom, I did the pretty standard things here. Let me show you. So this is the photo after I finished post-processing. I cooled down a little bit this photo to 2600. Move a little bit the tint to purple so that remove the green cast. Exposure raised it by a little bit over half a stop. Brought down the highlights and the whites, mainly to get the details here in the little girl's dress and flowers. And then open up the shadows to get more details in the bridesmaid dresses and the little boy's suit. Bump up the vibrance to 24, just to get a little bit of a punch here. And then under saturation and luminance, I remove a little bit of saturation in oranges and reds. This is mainly to remove the saturation from the skin of all the bridesmaids and little girl. And then the luminance, I brought it down a little bit. You can see that it basically adjusts the skin and also the marbles here. But this is just to have a more natural feel to the photo versus this oversaturated skin that comes straight out of the camera. Since it was shot at 3200 ISO, so we had to do some noise reduction, obviously, and we did some sharpening with masking at here right now is 69, but usually we check this photo by photo and see where are the edges. And to get to this view, you just press the Alt on a Windows, and then when you click it and click on the slider, that's when the edges appear. So basically, you want to see where the edges are and get the setting as to remove any details so that those are not sharpened. And then the amount 46, we usually stay between 30 to 60 depending on the photo. Here 46 did the job. And the last thing we changed is the post crop vignetting. We kept it at -30 just to have the edges of the photo a little bit darker. It's not much, 30 is not going to darken very much, but a little bit of a soft vignetting of the photo. So this was it in Lightroom. As you can see, nothing super drastic, just basically bringing the photo to a clean look without any cast or anything like that. So let's go to Photoshop now. So this is the final photo. So let me start from the beginning. This is the photo that we would get straight from the Lightroom. And as I mentioned before, in photojournalism category for the print competition, uh, the rules are very strict in terms of what kind of post-processing is allowed. So no plugins or any textures or split toning is allowed. So that's why we're gonna keep here a very simple editing with turning into black and white and some dodging and burning and then sharpening at the end. So the first step I did here was adding an adjustment layer, a black and white adjustment layer to turn this photo into black and white. Um, Nothing strange, I mean, or specific, like to turn this photo into something unrealistic. I just bump up the yellows a little bit up. Here I can see like 160 in the 160s, and basically just to light up the skin of the little girl and the boy, so it's not too dark. The next two layers are two curve layers, and as you can see that it brings more the attention toward the girl and the boy. And the first layer is the lighter. It's called the lighter layer, and we bring the curve up. And then the second one is the darker curve, which basically brings everything down. And you'll see in the lighter mask, we hit the whole layer um, except the little girl and the little boy. And I press the backslash to see the layer mask. So you see here that the whole frame is I mean the whole layer is masked out except the little girl and the little boy, which I wanted to make a little bit brighter here. So this is, if we turn off this layers actually and just compare, what this curve does, you can see that this just lighten up the little girl a little bit. The second layer is the darker one, is kind of the opposite. So this will darken everything that we didn't touch by the lightning curve. So if you look at it, see everything is darker now except the little girl and the little boy. If we look at the mask, everything is darkened, and then we just masked out the little girl and the little boy here. So they stay the same, everything else darkened. So the end result is that the girl and the boy are slightly lighter, and the rest is a little bit darker. And then after the first print of this photo, I realized that there's still not enough focus on the girl and the boy, so I added another dodge and burn layer. This time through the 50% gray, just to light up the faces. So you see the girl's face and the boy's face are much lighter, so that the attention really goes to them. And when I use the 50% gray dodging and burn layer, obviously I use it in a soft light um, layer mode. And then for the brush, I always paint at 100% opacity and the flow at 2 to 3%. So that it gives me control how much I want, how much of dodging or how much burning I want to apply to a specific area. And then the last step is just sharpening, and we use the high pass filter on a soft light layer. I believe I ran the high pass here at 4 pixels setting. And this is just an overall sharpening of the image. So it just slightly sharpened so that when it printed, it just prints very nicely and clean edges. So this was and you will notice also that I didn't add any mask for the sharpening, so I could, because I cannot do selective sharpening in the wedding photojournalism category, so I have to apply global sharpening. Normally, if this was a photo for me or for the client, I would sharpen probably just the girl and the boy and leave the rest of the photo a little bit softer. But since this was for a print competition, I had to apply a global sharpening. So this was basically all the post processing that I did before printing it, and I printed it on the Epson R2880, and I used the advanced black and white mode on the printer to have a very clean black and white print without any tints of colors that may happen if you print in full color. So this is it. If you have any questions, please leave comments below. and I'll be happy to answer anything. And if you have questions about any of the steps here, if you would like more explanation, definitely leave a comment. I'll answer either through comments, or I'll post another video that describes this technique. And then also, if you would like to see the future videos, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be happy to post new photos in the upcoming days. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon.